Hi everyone, this reading's a request and it was for the Beaumont children who went missing from Glenelg Beach in Adelaide on the 26th of January 1966. I do need to say before I start this reading that this is for entertainment purposes only. It's my thoughts and opinions, not fact. Now, the first thing that I'm getting around this case is that this was a repeat offender. So I do feel like there were other crimes that were committed. Obviously the perpetrator hasn't been caught for any of them, I don't feel. And one of them that I get around it is the Adelaide Oval abductions with the two young girls, Joanne Radcliffe and Kirsty Jane Gordon. Now, with the Beaumont children, what I'm getting automatically is that they're at the beach and this person's actually befriended them. It's took a while. It's the man's given them a completely different impression of who he is, and I do feel as though he's acting alone. He's not with a group of people or anything. And what he's doing is he's befriending the children, he's buying them things, getting them treats, and I do feel that somehow the children have connected with him through him speaking to a family friend or something along those lines. I don't feel as though he's embedded within the family. He doesn't know the family well, but a family friend had spoken to him, possibly just in passing, and this is why the children have automatically felt as though they could trust him. That and the fact that he's putting on quite a show and quite an act for them. And I feel that this went on for a couple of months, no longer, but just enough so that he's got this element of trust with the children. What I'm getting is that he's taken the children to a building. Now, for whatever reason, this building feels like it's in the dark. It's darker than it should be. And it's a little bit like they're not supposed to be there. I do feel as though one of the children tried to leave, tried to get out, and there were things that happened there, but ultimately I'm getting there was something that involved a blade or a bladed article. Now, this man, he's I keep getting around his work or his profession that he had. It's something to do with medications. I'm not getting illegal substances, but I'm getting like medications and drugs, but it's not well paid as a physician would be or a surgeon would be. It's at a lower level, so it could be someone who works in care and dispenses medicines, or someone at a lower level in the medical profession who's actually handing over medication to patients. But I keep on getting all that around him, and every time I think of him I automatically feel as though there's something quite surgical. I feel as though he planned this for quite a long time meticulously. I don't feel he was planning it with the Beaumont children, but I feel as though he was planning this and they were the children that he managed to get hold of. Now, as I said, this man's a repeat offender, and I also feel he's responsible for the Adelaide Oval abductions. What I'm getting around this one is that because it was later, so this was the 25th of August 1973, I'm getting that by this point he was more of a hunter-predator style operation. And what I get is that these young girls, they thought they were helping somehow, like he'd lost something and they were helping him to look. But I keep on getting sort of this looking for things. I feel like there was also some sort of reward offered, like if they helped him find something, he would give them, a small amount of money or whatever. But I get a genuine sense that these children, these two young girls, they thought they were helping. Now, again, I get that these young ladies were taken to a house somewhere, possibly a building, but I get the same thing again, that this is really dark, and it's almost like they're not supposed to be there. And I also feel like this bladed weapon again was used. I get like a very similar sense from both of them. Now with the Beaumont children, in regards to where they are, the first thing that I'm getting is that this is somewhere you would go to pray, to meditate. It's really spiritual. It's almost like a place of worship, but I'm feeling the sense of being outdoors, and it's a beautiful viewpoint as well. With the two young girls, Kirsty and Joanne, the ones who were at the Adelaide Oval, what I'm getting around these is that they're not too far away. I'm getting the feeling that it's somewhere, and it's like a viewpoint where people would go, they'd go to take in the view. I feel as though it's quite famous and extremely beautiful. There's mountains, and I'm getting a red dust or some sort of sand that's there, and even though the two aren't the exact same place, they're quite close by. It's, you know, I do feel slightly out in the country, undisturbed. And again, this male, I feel as though I do feel as though the children are buried somewhere. But I do get that they will both be found, they will all be found, sorry. So in terms of finding them, what I get is that there's this young, you know, tradesperson, a young man who finds them, and I get that for both sets of children. So I'm getting that there's this redevelopment that goes on somewhere, possibly not house building, because I feel as though this is in, you know, it's quite like an area of outstanding natural beauty or something like along those lines. It's not somewhere where you would build houses over the top of it. It would be left untouched, but I'm getting that some sort of work happens there, possibly conservation. But there's a young tradesperson, and he finds, I don't know if it's the same tradesperson, but the same group finds both sets of children. And what I'm getting is that I do feel like it's something to do with building or construction with these young men, but I do feel it's around a similar time as well. So it's as though it's the same plot of land, but it's not the exact same place in the land. In terms of whether or not this perpetrator is going to be caught, I do feel as though at some point in the future he will be named, but I feel as though by this point he may have already passed over. What I also get about this man is that he was monitoring the media, so he was looking at stories that were coming out afterwards, and he was looking to see if there were any mistakes or any potential leads that could go back to him. And I mean, this was several years ago, so this would have been newspaper clippings or what happened on the news, on TV channels, rather than trying to get anything he could from social media. But I do feel as though the children will be found at some point.